Hello, library people
Woo!
out there, world. It is Cassidy
And Christine.
We are back. We talked about last week our middle grade winter order. So this week we are going to talk about our young adult order that we got in. So these are the last new books we will have until January.
Last of 2018.
2018 has gone by fast,
it has.
for sure. We did have a little tiny bit of library controversy, or it was controversial to us, about our video last week. We just want everybody out there to know that we are doing this as a casual conversation between Christine and I, and we are just giving our own little personal opinions, and we're trying to be funny and
we're just being ourselves.
Not take ourselves very seriously.
We're not going to be formal. We're not going to be like, I'm a librarian.
Yeah, and I don't want to just, this is what the back says. You should come and read this book. So we do try to, interject just a little bit of ourselves and our own personality. Yeah. So we apologize if that's not what you're looking for in your book
tube videos,
but that's what you're going to get with us. So
we're just us.
We are, for sure. Awesome us.
Woo!
I like it. Okay,
I say woo a lot. I noticed that. Ew. Sorry, everyone. Okay,
it'll be okay.
Continue on.
I didn't notice it all until you said that, and now I do notice. Start, Christine. What do you got?
Okay,
go for it.
So I am starting with a fantasy romance, The Star-Touched Queen by Roshani Chokshi. And this is about a girl named Maya. And she has a horoscope prediction that she is going to have a marriage that brings death and destruction. So she's horrified when her father makes an arranged marriage for political gain, because she's like, oh my gosh, this is what's gonna happen. But then she actually finds, like, being queen and being his wife, like, she finds her power, her voice, like her strong womanhood. Awesome. But then as she's the queen of this new place that she is with her husband, she's starting to feel like her life is in danger. Something is happening, and then she realizes
a fantasy queen in danger. I never read a book with that premise ever in my life. Ever.
I know. So, she discovers an ancient mystery that brings other realms along with the Earth realm that she is going to have to figure out so that everything is not destroyed.
Awesome. And this is actually there's already a sequel out, right?
So yeah, like a companion novel, book 2.
Oh, okay. So it's not going to be like maybe
it's not an exact sequel, but it's a companion, and we have it. So
yeah, just a little backstory on this book. Like the literal book itself, Christine ordered the second one. We didn't have the first
And then I freaked out because I don't like making those mistakes. I want to make sure I do it in chronological order. And so I got it and I was processing it and I was just like, this is book 2.
That's so funny.
Now we have the first one.
I know. Yeah, for sure. So Christine has done an amazing job the last couple of years doing the book ordering, and she tries to always stay on top of the newest and hippest and the coolest things.
But it's hard.
Then old Cass came into the building, and I'm like, well, there's a couple of things I've read over the years that I liked and that look really cool. So I keep sneaking a couple of series into her carts. So like this one. I actually haven't read it, and it was written in 2004, but let's back up. I love Goodreads. I've been promoting this a lot lately to people that come into the library. If they ask me what I'm reading, I'm like, well, get on Goodreads, and you can just see what I'm reading and what I like. Stop asking me, because I can't remember what I read last week. But anyways, Goodreads does its website, and it keeps track of the books that you read. It'll give you recommendations. The great thing is you can actually see what your friends are reading, so you can always kind of
banter about our Goodreads all the time.
For sure. But so this popped up on my Goodreads as a suggestion that I might like. It is called The Sea of Trolls, The Adventure Begins, and it is by Nancy Farmer. So It is more action, adventure. I don't think there's probably going to be a lot of romance in this. I haven't read it yet. It is a 3-book series, so since it was written several years ago, we went ahead and ordered the entire thing because we do have a lot of kids and adults that like to just binge read. It's like Netflix of books. It drives me crazy when you read an amazing book and then you have to wait a year for the sequel to come out. So I did buy the entire thing. Very cool. It says The Lord of the Rings meets I just blanked out. They're Vikings. I thought that was really cool. He actually grows up in Saxon England time. It's like AD 700 and something, blah, blah, blah. But he gets, well, I remember when I was a teenager, one of the very first books that I, not read, obviously, but I was like, oh, this is different. And it was a historical fiction. And actually, I think it was a romance, but it was set in, that same time period where, the Saxons, which I don't even think by then they were being, they didn't consider themselves English because they came over from France, blah, 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 blah. So I'm kind of excited. I don't think I've read anything set in that time period in a long time. But anyways, he is kidnapped or enslaved by Vikings. But once he gets to the land, the king's wife is half troll. So it just goes topsy-turvy from there and has a lot of fantasy.
That sounds interesting.
I know, it really does. Yeah. It's, she's a half troll. It says that there's dragons and all kinds of.
Like it.
I know, you will like it. There are dragons. I did read that. So, very cool thing. Maybe some history thrown in, but then it twists into fantasy crazy land. So 3-book series, and it is called, again, The Sea of Trolls. I didn't see, like a lot of series will have names, but I didn't see an actual series
It'll
name.
probably just be Sea of Trolls
Sea of
1,
Trolls,
Sea of Trolls 2.
2.
So you can binge read this over Christmas break.
I know, for sure. This will be great. I know several kids right out of the gate that I will start pushing this towards.
Yes, our little library critics, because we have those. We
do.
We
for
get
sure.
new books in, and if we don't have time to read them, but it looks really good, we'll give it to them and be like, read this and tell us what
if
you
it's
thought.
good or not. But
All
don't
right.
tell me if it's really bad because I was the one that pushed it in the cart. I don't want to know. I'm just kidding.
All right, so my next book is called An Assassin's Guide to Love and Treason by Virginia Becker. And this is a historical fiction. You have Lady Catherine, whose father gets murdered for illegally practicing the Catholic faith, because it's set back in that time in England, I believe. Yes. Mm-hmm. And so she finds out that there was more to his death than just that. He was involved in a murder plot for Queen Elizabeth I. Okay. And so she decides to disguise herself as a boy and go to London and finish her father's quest of killing the queen herself. Whoa. But while she's there, William Shakespeare is putting on a play, and it has some rebels in it. And so she decides to try out for the play so she can find out what's going on. She meets one of the queen's spies. There's a little spark going on there. And so there's a lot of betrayal and just, a murder plot. You're going to have to read it to find out what happens.
Awesome. Cool.
So, yeah, it sounds fun.
Yeah, it does. I love historical fiction. One of my favorites. I need to get back into it more. Okay, so to kind of play again on the spark, romance. We don't talk about that very much, but teenagers do like it too. This book is another one. Again, it was written, the series started probably 4 or 5 years ago. This is one of my favorite kind of adult fantasy authors, Cressley Cole. She writes a lot of quick, supernatural books. Like, they're usually pretty short and easy. I used to read these a lot on my Kindle. But she, this is her first YA series, and it starts out, the first one is called The Poison Princess. and it is set in a post-apocalyptic world, Earth, America. But it has a really cool kind of fantasy twist.
Yeah, she introduced me to the series, and from the first book, I was like, okay, like, I really liked it.
Yeah, it's a really cool, I guess, what would you even classify this as?
I mean, it's definitely fantasy because you have...
It starts today. It's contemporary.
Right, a contemporary
novel, but then it
adventure,
goes into...
fantasy, romance.
Yeah.
All of those.
It does turn into more romance as the series goes on. So right now, this one is number 5, if you can see that, maybe. But anyways, it's a really fun, quick, juicy read. I do not recommend this for anyone under the age of, I would say, at least 16, 17.
Yeah.
There is mature content
Absolutely.
in this. Yeah, for sure. But it's fun.
It is.
It's, like I said, I do love her, like, supernatural. We always talk about fantasy, and it's, nowadays, they're, like, this one, like an epic world-building series. But these are more supernatural werewolves, vampires,
well, because
Cressley Cole, I should say. This whole book is set on tarot cards.
Right.
All the tarot card
21
characters
of the major arcana.
Yeah.
They have the powers of like the moon and death and the empress.
So it's really cool read, but not for our younger audience by any means whatsoever.
But if you're, older high school adults.
I probably had more moms come in and check out this series than
it'll get you
than kids,
especially the romance. I'm not gonna say anything about it, but the stuff starts and you're just like, ah!
I know.
And that book really made me.
It has a great what do you call them? When there's 3 people, love triangle. Sorry.
I know, and most people get annoyed by them, and books are like, oh, not another love triangle in a YA, but this one is done really different.
Yeah,
and
it's better than Jacob and Edward. Trust me.
And it's hard to decide, but we fight all the time over who we think should be the top love interest.
Death.
Jack.
Don't say Jack.
Jack.
Whatever.
Okay, so. You just talked. Okay. So my next one is actually, I don't want to do this one yet.
Oh,
I'm going to do this one.
Ooh.
Our sci-fi. So, this one is hot all over social media right now. Book boxes are having this book in more than one book box because Cassidy got 2 copies of it.
2 book boxes this month, 2 YA book boxes, and both boxes had this book in it.
Skyward by Brandon Sanderson.
Woo!
Which he's apparently a very well-known sci-fi author that I did not know about. So I feel like I need to educate myself and read some of his books.
Do you really want to read sci-fi?
Yes, I enjoy sci-fi. Really? If it has like a fantasy adventure-y twist. Yes, I do like sci-fi. I will admit it. So anyway, the human race in this book has been driven almost to extinction. And you have your main character, her name is Spensa. They're trapped on this planet, the rest of the humans that are left. They're constantly being attacked by alien starships. And she really wants to become a pilot to help save her humans, And so, And so she discovers an ancient ship, and she decides she's going to fix it up, possibly get into flight school, and then, be a pilot and help out. And then she realizes that the ship might actually have a soul. What's the one with the car? Oh my gosh. The TV show way back when, Knight Rider.
Oh, Knight Rider.
Where the car can talk and do stuff. That's kind of what it sounds like.
No. That is not at all what it sounds like. Because I'm a little bit older than you, and I used to watch a ton of TV because I have insomnia and I can't sleep. And I always hated Star Trek, Star Wars, but there was this show on the Sci-Fi Channel, and it's called Farscape. Have you ever heard of that?
I have not ever heard of this.
Hilarious, awesome show, and their
spaceship?
Their spaceship is alive.
Okay, well that's kind of like
Farscape.
Okay, it's kind of like the
I know
car.
what this
I
looks
don't know.
Knight Rider. What?
Well, you remember David Hasselhoff,
I know.
right? Right?
Yeah,
I think
do.
so. Well, it
You're
just
not
made me
supposed to tell
think.
people that were that old at all.
I-
Farscape. Look it up. Somebody comment that
Well,
they know what Farscape is.
Well,
please.
I'm young enough that
probably
I
not
did
on
not
Netflix.
watch Knight Rider. It was reruns by the time I saw it. It was not fresh. Maybe. No. I'm old. Dusty. Anyway, so that's this sci-fi selection. Sounds interesting. Apparently
Well,
really good.
Maybe I want to read it now because I did love Farscape.
So see,
I don't know
now-
if it's on Netflix or what, but I used to love that. I used to record it on my VHS while I was in cosmetology school because I have my cosmetology degree too. And then I would come home and watch it. I loved it. It was just so good.
Well, read it and tell us if the hype is worth it.
I will because I donated that book to the library and I have the other copy at home and I'm going to try to read it over Christmas break. But I don't know, guys. Sci-fi is not my forte usually. So
I like it.
I'll try. I might skim it real fast. My next one is called Symphony for the City of the Dead. This is nonfiction. I picked this up a couple of months ago when I went to a library class. It looked really interesting. They had a ton of books in the room and everybody got to get up and pick one they wanted to take home, and this was the one that spoke to me because we were talking about books that talk about music. At the time, that was our summer reading program, Libraries Rock. This is nonfiction. It's set in World War II. It is told about a composer. I'm going to butcher his name hardcore, but it's Dmitri Shostakovich.
Shostakovich?
Yeah, maybe. Anyways, he was somewhere in Europe and his city got invaded by the Nazis, and he's talking about, he wrote a very, very famous, I actually just listened to it on YouTube a minute ago, and you would recognize it. It's the most famous war symphony ever composed, and it's about the siege of his city, which it does say it right here at Leningrad. I think I'm pronouncing that right. I want to say it's in like Austria, somewhere like that.
This is because you just did the Library of Auschwitz.
Well, okay,
Like-
so I did.
and you talked about it on our last YA video.
Oh,
as
did
well.
I?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I did. We got the new book, The Librarian of Auschwitz. I did just finish it. I listened to it on audio, and I was telling Christine during the first probably 5 hours, I didn't love it. It was very dry and just. I don't know. I don't know how to explain those books that you're kind of like, oh, why am I reading this? There's so many other things on my TBR.
No, I get that. I get that.
But the more I got into it, it's a true story, World War I, World War II. It's just flabbergasting how much real life is so much more powerful than fantasy.
Yeah.
So an amazing read, which I listened to it. It was a great
So now
narrator.
you should read this one.
I know. I actually probably will. Like I said, I picked this up this summer because it spoke to me then, and it's just been sitting in the box. But now that Christine put this fancy cover on it, because again, she has to cover a lot of these books to make them so that sticky fingers like mine, when I'm eating popcorn and reading, don't get all over her
Yeah.
precious books. But it is a YALSA Young Adult Nonfiction Award winner. It looks great. It actually has a lot of pictures too, which that was the only thing about the Librarian of Auschwitz. I need to pull it off of the shelf since I listened to it. I bet it does have some really cool pictures in it. But it's, if you are interested in world history, especially that time era, I do highly recommend the Librarian of Auschwitz. And then this would be another cool one, Symphony for the City of the Dead. Boom.
Woohoo!
Next.
All right, my last book is another fantasy. This is kind of a high epic fantasy. Is that what they're called?
Yeah,
Possibly.
I think
So this is Wind Rider by PC Cast, and PC Cast has several series over there that are very popular.
Yeah.
House of Night series, then we have the House of Night novella series that goes along with it. And we had several teenagers who, once we started getting this, because they had read the House of Nights, they immediately gravitated to this series. The series is called Tales of a New World, and this is actually book number 3. We have 1, 2, and 3, but this is not the final book in the series. The covers are always very pretty.
Very cool.
I really like them. So this is a fantasy where humans and animals are allies, and they have like clans and tribes. You have Earthwalkers, Wind Riders, which is the title of this book, companions. I'm not sure what that means because I haven't read them, but they're different tribes and clans, and I think they all start off as rivals, but they have a goddess of life and a god of death, and the god of death has been resurrected or has come back, and so some of them have to put away their rivals in order to fight him. However, some of them are, other tribes are taking advantage of the fact that, you know, so it's just a mess. It's a hot mess of fighting and trying to save the world and evil forces and animals that will help you out.
Very super popular
Yeah.
author. I've never heard anything bad that she's done, especially from our kids that come in.
Right.
And read them.
So this might be one you want to check out if you like those kinds of.
Yeah, for sure. Again, I do, like I said, a lot of fantasy nowadays is just a lot of world building and magic and things, and I do think that that has a lot of, our PC Cast does a lot of supernatural, so it's things that we kind of like already know.
Right,
That go bump
yeah.
in the night, and I like that stuff. That's what I grew up on. You know, I'm an 80s girl. I like vampires and werewolves and Frankenstein. Same. Okay, my last one is, this is the third book in the trilogy, Shades of Magic by V.E. Schwab. This is another one that, actually, we had book
1.
No, I feel like
2?
it was 2. We had
Maybe.
book 2, and it was in the adult section.
Right, I remember because she asked me about ordering it, and I was like,
I have this book at home that's really cool, but I don't see it on your shelves. And then we looked in our card catalog, and book 2 was over in the adult section. So now we have 1, 2, and 3 in the YA section, because I'm pretty sure that's where it belongs. Very cool book about magic. But it is told from there's only like 3 people in this entire world that can do magic and travel between worlds, because there are 3 different it's called Londons. So there's White London, Black London, and Red London, and there's only 3 people in the world that can travel in between the 3 worlds. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
But all 3 worlds have different levels of magic. Magic is disappearing, and it's gone from Black London, and then White London is kind of I take it back. It's called Grey London. Sorry. And it's being called Grey London because it's losing its color, it's losing its magic, its power. They're scared that it's going to turn into a black.
So black means there's no magic.
No magic.
Okay.
Right. So red is the vibrant, cool place that everybody wants to be, because the 3 world jumpers go back to their world and say, you know, oh, our place is the best. This one sucks. This one is even worse. But some crazy mischief happens, especially when one of the main characters, she jumps in and she is awesome. What is her name? I cannot remember. Lila Bard. So she is cool BA chick that, you know, jumps worlds without even knowing it, when they were like, oh, only boys can do that. And she's like, oh, whatever.
Ooh, yay.
Watch me.
Girl power.
Watch me do it. So very cool. Lots of banter. A lot of... I love books that do a lot of dialogue, a lot of fun, you know, one-on-one situations. And this book has it in spades. Great series, V.E. Schwab. I actually reviewed her latest middle grade book that I wasn't in love with because I loved this series so much. And so if
Did you ever read the Monsters of Verity series? I mean, it's just a duology.
Yes, I read the first one, like the Song of, right?
Yeah.
Did she read, is that her too?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yes. Victoria Schwab, yeah.
You're
V.E.
right.
Schwab and Victoria
What is it?
Schwab.
What is that?
Because the second one is Our Dark Duet.
Right.
This Savage Song.
Savage Song.
This Savage Song.
I did read that. It was interesting. It was a little bit different. I loved this one a little bit more.
Now,
but she has
I need
another
to
one,
read it.
Vicious. I need you to order her other series, Vicious, because the third book in that series is coming out.
We're
in
just
a day.
going to take all the book ordering
I know.
budget. It's just going to be us.
Yikes.
Because we're going to have like a list of 500 books that we're like, we need to get this in January.
Yep. So our video has already gone to 26 minutes.
Woohoo!
Because we can talk and talk and talk. So there are probably about 7 or 8 other books that we decided not to feature. So you will have to come in and check it out and see what we have.
And lots of new graphic novels with our manga.
Yeah,
Got
for
more.
sure.
And
Tons
what'd you get?
of manga.
Full Metal Alchemist. You threw that in the cart.
I did, and I think
so
I
we
tried to get the
have-
whole series.
You did. Yeah. So
Yeah,
we have like
for sure.
6, 7.
I know.
I don't remember how many. We have a lot
Tons
of them.
of graphic novels. One of these days we will get around to doing a highlight on just graphic novels.
We did that.
I know we did, but I think that we should continue to do
we
it
should.
to, you know, promote. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So if you are bored over Christmas break and looking for something to do,
We'll be here.
we'll be here.
Come see us.
Yeah, come check it out.
Every Thursday evening, it's me and her.
It is here.
Yeah.
By
Come see
ourselves? No, we're never by ourselves ever. But we would love to meet you, see you, talk to you, get book, recommendations. Yeah, love it when teens come in and tell us what they love.
Yeah. Taylor and I just spent like an hour talking about Kingdom of Ash. Like,
I walked off.
she
and
did. She
went-
was like, I
Yeah.
don't know this book, so
I
bye.
know. I went and looked to see if there was anything yummy to eat in the break room. So, but anyways, so we would love to see you. Please come in, or ask us anything on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I always forget about that one, but I've been trying a lot lately to stay on top of Twitter, and there is some funny stuff on there. Like
It is.
I'm trying hard.
Yeah.
There's just so many.
And talk to us. Like, if you are watching this and you don't live near where we are, comment us. Send us messages.
Yeah.
If you want to talk about books, we will talk about books all day long. And always taking recommendations. Even though my to be read, the stack at my house is rough. I'm just like, oh gosh. I don't even know, how in my lifetime I'm going to finish my
I have
to be read.
I have 2 overdue books here at the library. I just got an email yesterday, and I'm like, how in the world does that happen?
Right, because we have
I
so
know.
many books that we
Yeah.
want to read. And the problem I'm running into is that I'm wanting to read so many books to be able to promote that
Right.
when I read the first book of a series, like I want to keep reading the series, but I'm
don't
like,
have
but I
time.
need to be reading something
know.
else so that way I can
I
tell the
know.
kids and the teens and the adults, I can be like, oh yeah. This is this, but
I just had a young gentleman earlier today ask me what my favorite book in a series, like a 4 or 5 book series, is, and I'm like, I only read the first one.
Yeah.
I liked it. I liked it a lot.
I
just don't
know,
have
like the
time.
Iron Trial. I want to finish that.
That's
it
the
was so
exact series that he was asking me about, and I was like, "Wow."
And the Blackthorn Key, I had a 5th grader just finish it, and she was bragging to her friends about it, like just, oh my gosh, it's so good. So now I have about 3 of them lined up at my classroom who want to read that series, and I'm like, okay,
I know.
I need to read this series.
The only
then.
series now that I've been reading, but they're not doing it in the middle grade book club that Christine is in charge of, but mine, we are reading the entire series. So that's really the only series I read is now that they're for book club.
I know. Like,
so-
it's same, The False Prince. I want to find out.
That one was so good too. I called it though.
You
I
did.
call it.
And I have started reading the Lunar Chronicles because Taylor, listening to them because Taylor has been hyping it so much. And so I'm
Is
like,
it
okay.
good? That's Cinder, right?
Yes.
Cinder.
Cinder.
Whatever
I don't
the other
remember the
ones
rest
are.
of them. But it's only 3 books. So
But that's
it's not like I'm going to be
sci-fi too,
listening.
right? It's fantasy
It is,
sci-fi.
yeah. A
Cinderella
cyborg
in
Cinderella.
space.
But not at all like it's so,
Is it?
It's good so far. I'm on chapter 15.
I know. But
It's
I feel
good
like
so far.
I feel like now that it's the 2 of us against the world of books, that if you read it, I don't have to read it.
Right.
Is that bad?
No.
You know?
Unless
'Cause
we
I'm like,
unless we
there's
run
no
into
way.
something really good because
Yeah.
like the Falconer series, I needed
That
that
was
in my
so
life.
good.
The Arcana Chronicles.
That was good. You have to read Truly Devious.
Okay, see, I want to.
I don't remember. I think I talked about it on a different video.
On our last 3 of November.
Last 3 of November. But I actually just got it back from, I gave it out to another teen as a recommendation, and he came back in and he was like, I read this in a day. Where's the next one? When's it coming out? And he actually, his name's Tyler, but he's a huge high fantasy, loves action adventure, because this is a realistic
mystery, right?
Yeah. And he was like, I think this might be one of the best books of 2018 that I've read.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
I even had him read.
You have to read that book. It is
Where- is
so
it in?
good.
Did he bring it in?
Yeah, but it's not in the news section anymore. It's over in the stacks. I'll have to pull it for you. Such a great book. And the sequel comes out in January, which I told him.
So that's good.
Yeah, but I
We
was
don't have
like,
to wait a year for it.
you don't have to wait a year, but like being a library, like I can't just order it off of Amazon and it show up at my house. It is going
Right.
to take us. That's why I told him, like, oh, it's probably going to be more like February before it
or
gets
March.
here. Plus, I
Yeah,
was like,
just-
plus it's already spoken for. And he's like, who's going to read that book? And I was like, me. I'm going to be the first person that reads that book when it comes in because I loved it and I recommended it.
Do we
to
have
you.
anything else by that author?
No.
Is this her debut?
No,
We need to look it up then.
But funny thing is, I realized that she is one of Cassandra Clare's collaborators. So she has written some of Taylor's
Favorite
Shadowhunters books with
Clockwork
her.
Prince.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think her
Yeah.
name's Maureen Johnson. So great book. I was going to, you know what I wanted to talk about, which I know, gosh dang it, we're at 33.
If you have made it this far with us, we are impressed. Hey, if you've made it this far, comment, message, or come into the library and we'll give you a prize.
Yeah.
If you watched
For sure.
this long, we have boxes of
I have
prizes.
a ton of, those
Yeah,
book boxes.
so if you've
things
watched
that
this
are weird.
long, let us know. We'll
Yeah.
mail it to you even.
For sure.
Let us know.
But I have to brag on myself just a little bit. Did you see that I met my goal on Goodreads?
Yes.
Yes. Well,
But I met mine,
kept-
but mine was so weenie. She was yelling at me.
So I know I talked about Goodreads in the beginning, and I'll make it quick and short. You can set a reading challenge for yourself throughout the entire year. So at the beginning of the year, you decide, I want to read in 2019. I want to read 100 books,
which was your goal, and
which
I was like,
mine
she's
in
crazy.
18.
I set
Christine's
mine
was
at 40.
40. I
But
was like-
okay, so last year I barely made my goal. But this year I'm already
You're way past.
I'm
yeah.
at 63.
Yeah.
So
But
I
mine
will
was,
beef
like-
it up.
Mine was like at like 94, and I was like, there's no way. I know I've read more books, but the only thing that makes me mad about Goodreads is I had to go back and put in the dates, and then all of a sudden I was at 107, and I was like,
Yeah.
I don't have to read for the rest of the year. I'm just gonna watch Hallmark movies and
Whatever.
and eat
bonbons by
Yeah.
the fire with your.
I love that
cocoa.
peppermint bark. What is that? Ghirardelli peppermint bark. That's what I read or eat. So, anyways, I do love Goodreads because, I think it keeps you honest. You know what I mean?
It
I was
does,
like, you
yeah.
know what? I was like, my 12 friends on Goodreads
Oh
know
my
that my
gosh,
challenge was
whatever.
100, and I'm not going to hear it that I didn't make it. So I'm going to keep reading. So
Yeah.
I think it's great. But anyways, so that's what we have for you for YA. All of these
December.
awesome, amazing books. Come out and check them out. Just don't break my spines, or I'll be mad at you.
And I'll have to reorder, and then I'll be mad because then
know.
I have to spend money on a book we already have.
So like this book, you can already tell that Tyler and a couple of other kids have had it, and I'm like, when I bring a book back, it looks like this. It looks like
Does
this.
it?
Like I'll just sit there, and I'm like, oh yeah, and then you give it out, and then they're like, oh, did you see that page? And they're like, go like this, and I'm like, I'm going to lose it. But it's awesome that
They get so excited.
They do, and they love their books. Maybe a little too much, but awesome. So that's what we have. We hope that you have happy holidays, Merry Christmas,
all that stuff.
Hanukkah, all of it.
Kwanzaa.
It's a good one. I like that one for sure. So
Whatever. And I mean, we'll have more videos.
will we? I don't know.
Because we're going to have to do, oh my gosh, stop it. We're going to have to do another rants. And then our last 3 of December.
Yeah, that's true.
So
I
just
did read
2
some
more.
good ones in December. I don't know if I read any bad ones. I don't know if I can do a rants video.
I think we should rant about covers. I really want to rant about book covers.
I don't know. They don't bother me that much.
Okay.
Yeah, anyways, we will. We'll rant.
Yeah.
Hardcore.
You said every week when we made the
I
video.
know.
You're like, every week we're going to rant. And I said no.
I know. But then all the books I've read lately have been good. I really thought Librarian of Auschwitz wasn't going to be that good, that it was too dry and boring, that teens wouldn't like it. But it ended up being really good. It is another one, though. Shoot, I should just talk about it in the next video, but I do not recommend it for kids under age 16, 17. Like, there is some pretty serious stuff and just mature content. So, anyways.
All right, 37 minutes. Woo! Once again, if you've made it this far, let us know. We'll give you a prize.
And it'll be bookish.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it'll be a bookish prize.
Yep,
so,
for sure.
But if you're watching this, I hope you like to read.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, why are you spending 40 minutes with us as we banter?
I know.
About
as we ramble.
random
I don't even
things.
think it's banter. We're rambling on. I think it's because it's cold outside and I don't want to get up and drive home because now it's dark and scary and I just want to sit here and look at all the books.
I need to go to bed.
I know. You have to go to work in the morning.
I do. Oof.
All right. Good night.
All right, thanks.
Yep,
Bye.
bye.